So the first was Battle of Buxar. It was an important event, and this Battle of Buxar, that was in 1764, was fought between East India Company and the combined army of Mir Qasim of Bengal. So as East India Company won this Battle of Buxar, they were granted a Diwani, and Diwani is royal notice, in the year 1765, that gave them the right over revenue and civil justice of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. And this from here, like the company, that is East India Company, it came for the trade motive in India, but finally it became the British who's ruling India, that is British India. So this was the first, that is company's rule, that was from 1773 till 1858. 1858, why? Just because in 1857 there was a great revolt, that was the first independence revolt, and that was revolt of 1857. So after this revolt, the crown rule began, and the crown rule is from 1858 to 1947, and this ended with the Indian Independence Act of 1947. So now let's see what are the important points to remember in this company rule and the crown rule. The company rule, that was from 1773 to 1858. So the first thing it had is Regulating Act of 1773. So what is Regulating Act of 1773? It is an act of great constitutional importance, as it was the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affair of East India Company in India. It recognized for the first time the political and administrative function of the company, and it laid the foundation of central administration of India. So this Regulating Act brought British into the power. So the first thing is to remember, it changed the Governor of Bengal to Governor General of Bengal. And who was the first Governor General of Bengal, or you can say the last Governor of Bengal? It changed Governor of Bengal to Governor General of Bengal. And who was the first Governor General of Bengal, or you can say the last Governor of Bengal? He is Lord Warren Hastings. And the second point to remember is, under this Regulating Act of 1773, the Supreme Court was established at Kolkata in 1774. And who was the first Chief Justice? He was Sir Elijah Impey. After the Regulating Act came the Pitt India Act of 1784, and this converted the executive supremacy to legislative supremacy. After this, it was followed by Charter Act of 1813, and then Charter Act of 1833 and Charter Act of 1853. In Charter Act of 1833, Governor General of Bengal was changed to Governor General of India. And who was the first Governor General of India, or you can say the last Governor General of Bengal? He was Lord William Bentinck. Okay. What is the meaning of charter? Charter is a written grant by the sovereign or legislative power of a country. So this brought many changes. In Charter Act of 1853, it introduced open competition exams for recruitment of civil services, like all the civil servants were recruited under this exam. And who was the first civil servant? He was Satyendranath Tagore. And after the company's rule, it started the crown rule, that was in the year 1858 to 1947, till the independence of the country. Under the crown rule, the first act was Government of India Act 1858. This act is significant as it enacted in the wake of revolt of 1857, also known as the First War of Independence or the Sepoy Mutiny. The act known that is this act, that is Government of India Act 1858, is also known as the Act for the Good Government of India. That is, what is good governance? So good governance is a government which is responsible and answerable. And under the Government of India Act 1858, the Governor General of India was now the Viceroy of India. And who was the first Viceroy, or you can say the last Governor General of India? He was Lord Canning. After this, it came Government of India Act 1919. What other thing happened in 1919? It was Jallianwala Bagh massacre, but that's a part of a history. So focusing on just a polity part, the Government of India Act 1919 was also called Mount Chelmsford Reform. That is, Montague was the Secretary of State of India and Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India then. Under this, diarchy was brought to India, where there were two powers, that was transferred subject and reserved subject. In transferred subject, the governor with the aid of minister is responsible to the legislative council, and in the reserved subject, they are not responsible for the legislative council. Within this act, a commission came to India, that is Simon Commission. As we all know, go back Simon, the slogan, that was in November 1927. It was chaired by Sir John Simon and it was a 7-member committee. And this was opposed by Indian, as that 7-member did not have any Indian in it. Now, after this came the communal awards in August 1932 by Ramsay MacDonald, which was followed by Gandhiji and B.R. Ambedkar signing the Pune Pact in Yarwada jail. Why was the Pune Pact signed? It's just because with the communal awards which were given to minority, Gandhiji was distressed as the difference between the people were creating, as you can say, a divide and rule policy which was not accepted by Gandhiji. So he was in a hunger strike which led him to Yarwada jail and finally signing the treaty between Gandhiji and B.R. Ambedkar. Now, the most important one is Government of India Act 1935. And why is this important? Because approximately 60% of our constitution, that is present constitution, is taken from this act. This act, that is Government of India Act 1935, it has 321 sections and 10 schedules in total. This all was followed by an August offer of 1940 and the Mountbatten Plan, which came on 3rd June 1947, and the Indian Independence Act of 1947. After the independence, the most important thing is our own constitution. So now the demand of the Constituent Assembly for making the constitution was formed. So now let's proceed towards the making of the constitution. Like, what are the steps? How was the constitution made? What were the criticisms after the constitution on the Constituent Assembly? The idea of the Constituent Assembly for India was first forwarded by M.N. Roy in 1934. The demand was accepted by August offer and it was followed by a Cripps mission in 1942 just to validate and see the Constituent Assembly and make a constitution. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on behalf of Indian National Congress, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by the Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The total strength of assembly was 389, in which 296 were British Indian seats and 93 were princely states seats. After this, after a voting and an election, the first meeting of the constitution was held on December 9th, 1946, and this was headed by Dr. Sachidananda Sinha, in which he was elected as he was the oldest member, and following a French practice, the oldest member was elected as the temporary president of the assembly. So he was the first but the temporary president of the assembly. After the formation of the Constituent Assembly, an objective resolution was passed by Jawaharlal Nehru on December 13, 1946. So the objective resolution was to let down the fundamental and philosophy of the constitution, like how shall the constitution of a country be. Now, for making a constitution, we obviously need a drafting committee who writes and thinks the idea, like what are the rules and regulation, what are the fundamental rights that can be added for the people. So the drafting committee was set up on August 29th, 1947, chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the total number of members in that drafting committee with the chairman, there were 7 members. Now, B.R. Ambedkar is also known as the father of Constitution of India, and even the first law minister, and even he is also regarded as the modern Manu. After the formation of the constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949, and contained a preamble and 395 articles and 8 schedules. Out of this, few articles were enforced on November 26th, like from that date. That articles are Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 388, 391, 392 and 393. We will be discussing these articles, but in a next video or later. Whereas the constitution was enforced on 26 January 1950, and that is referred to as Republic Day. Now, why do we celebrate Republic Day on 26 January, like specifically on that day? As our constitution was already built, we can select any other day and make our constitution enforced on that day. But why specifically 29 January? So this is because on this date in 1930, the Purna Swaraj Day was celebrated following the resolution in the Lahore session of Congress of December 1929. Now we all know with great things comes criticism, and Constituent Assembly was no exception to it. The few criticism is given here. It was criticized for not being a sovereign body, and even it was criticized for not being a representative body. It was a time consuming process, and it was dominated by Congress, it was dominated by Hindus, and it was a domination of lawyers and politicians. So these are some criticisms regarding with Constituent Assembly. So these were few important points that you must know about the making of the constitution, that is Indian Constitution, and in exam point of view they are important. So if I am missing out anyone or any queries, you can comment below. Till then, hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, share and comment. And yes, we also provide all the previous year SSC exams paper like SSC CGL, CHSL, CPO, Steno and etc. with detailed solution, and the link is given in the description box below. Till then, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for daily updates. Thank you.